Hi everyone, it's Paul here from Dartmoor Bouldering Tours. I'm going to show you guys a couple of bouldering pads, so if you're looking to get a new pad then this will give you some information. So today we've got a Moon one here. This is the Moon Warrior. There's a snap pad here and an Okun, I think that's how you say it, Okun, pad as well. So we've got three different styles and types of pads that we'll have a little look at. Okay, so not only do we have several different designs of pads, but also some different uses for these types of pads. So we're going to start with the more traditional of the ones, which is this snap pad here. I can't remember the specific name of it. So this one is kind of perfect for your starting pad. It's about 10 centimeters in thickness. It's got a hinged closure, so we'll have a look at that. You've got your backpack straps there as well, and it's pretty kind of robust for if it's a bit damp or gritty or whatever. This one opens just like that, and it's probably 1.5 meters by 1.2 meters in terms of its total area once it's opened up. So this kind of pad really good if you're starting out. It's kind of pretty multifunctional. Great as a single pad use. So some advantages of a bouldering pad like this one. First of all, they lie nice and flat when you have them out because of that hinge. It means that it lies perfectly flat because of the hinge there. However, the disadvantage is that if you land in the middle bit, they can, you don't necessarily get the full strength of the pads, and some have been designed with angular hinges that can solve that problem. The other nice thing is, because of the hinge, you can sometimes get it into awkward little places, which can be quite handy. So this next pad we're going to look at is the Moon Warrior. It's a pretty similar pad to the snap one, but in terms of its sort of thickness and its usages, but it's got a different design. So instead of a hinge, this one is what they call taco shell style. So this one's just got some closures here. We can open it up. Okay, so once we've got it opened up, you can see the backpack straps on this side. We've got this extra little flap here that comes over the top. Can hide away all that stuff in there. And then the nice thing with this is, it's like you can use that to wipe your feet down if it's a bit wet like it is today. The main differences with this one to the snap pad is that it doesn't have that hinge, which means that when you land on it, no matter where you land, you get a full range of landing area basically, so there's no weak point in the mat. So it's just like one full nice thing. The disadvantage is, because of that, even once it's nicely flattened out, they can be a bit more awkward to get into little areas or between rocks, because it's not quite as flexible, and it doesn't have that hinge point, so it can't angle between stuff. So sometimes that can be a little bit awkward compared to the snap pad with that hinge design. So that's one kind of major difference between the hinged and the taco. Nicer landing area, but a little bit more awkward sometimes to position well. This Moon one is nice, so it's got that extra foot pad, which is pretty handy. Okay, so the last pad we're going to look at is the Okun. This one is a slightly different style, so as you can see, this one is much thinner. This is probably, well, even folded, this is maybe 6 centimeters thick. So much thinner, much lighter, and at the moment it's kind of together as one. And this one has some zips on the side, and this is a hinged one, a bit like the snap, and that comes out to a bigger space there. Obviously super thin, this one, but with a similar coverage area to the other ones. The nice thing with this design is, because of the zip, you can actually unzip it all the way down, so you can actually have it lengthways, or you can have it sideways or whatever, so it's quite multi-functional, this one. This type of pad would be called a supplementary pad, so you wouldn't want one of these just on its own. The really nice thing to do with these is, if there's just you've got your landing area, but maybe there's a little rock on the side that you might roll into and hit, you can cover that over and protect that. The other thing you can use it for is if you've got two mats side by side. If you've got two mats, there's a a potential that you might fall into the gap between the mats. A bit like the problem with the hinged pads is that there's a bit where there's no cover, and you can actually lay that over the gap of the pads. So if you've got your one pad here and your other pad here, you can just put that one across and it covers over the pad, or you can put it that way, whichever. Okay, so we've looked at 3 different designs of pads. So we've looked at hinged style pads, and we've looked at taco style pads, and we've also looked at sort of a regular thickness, sort of 10 centimetre or thereabouts. And we've also looked at a really thin supplementary pad. Okay, now we're going to look at just like how they're actually constructed and sort of the importance of that. Okay, so we can actually open up the pad itself if you need to ever change the foam inside. So inside these is made of foam. The nice thing with this Moon one is it's actually covered in like a plastic coating, which means that it kind of gives it that extra water repellency. So if the cover itself gets soaking wet, then the foam won't just soak up all that water. What's really cool about these is that they're made up of 2 different types of foam. So you might see this if you're looking into pads. You've got open cell and closed cell foam. Okay, so on the bottom of the pad is the open cell foam here. You can see there's just a slight colour variance. This is a darker grey and a lighter grey. So that open cell is really soft, okay, as you can see, and the closed cell is much firmer. So when you're using these pads, it does make a difference whether you have it upside down or the right way up, okay? So you need to have it with that closed cell on the top. What that does is, because it's a firmer foam, when you land, it dissipates the force across the whole pad, and then the softer stuff underneath is what gives you the cushion. If you have it the other way around, if you're landing on the cushioning stuff, you'll basically just sink into a smaller point on the pad, and it won't spread the weight across a larger area, which will obviously break your fall in a nicer way. So most thicker pads will have this construction of a closed cell piece with a larger open cell piece underneath. When we look at the Okun one, this is the much thinner one. You can see it's just got that single piece of foam in there, and this is just made out of the closed cell. So this is really just a shock absorber. It's not designed to cushion the fall so much. It's just designed to, like, you know, kind of absorb that initial impact. So this is really great for sit starts, so you can have it doubled over so there's a bit more of it, or opened out. And if you're just falling a very short distance, it just kind of dissipates that fall. Or, as I said earlier, you can use this on top of another pad just to add a bit of extra cushion, and that closed cell foam will just like dissipate the energy as much as possible, and then the pad underneath can provide a bit of extra cushioning. So that's quite another useful thing to know with these supplementary pads. So I hope you found this video of use, and you know, if you're looking at getting a new bouldering pad, or you know, adding something to your collection, then maybe this is kind of giving you some information. And yeah, feel free to leave any extra comments and questions, and I'll be happy to answer. If anyone wants some recommendations, then let me know. I think all of these 3 pads are really good ones. Don't forget to check out the blog and subscribe if you're looking for more bouldering information.